Hi everyone, welcome back to Christine Tries Things. Today I'm going to talk about the Sony wireless remote commander. The remote control is compatible with most Sony cameras and it uses Bluetooth for connectivity. And this is huge because this means that I don't have to point directly at my camera for the remote control to work. I can hide it behind myself or have it under the table and it will still control the camera. So one of the reasons of why I wanted to start using a remote control is because a lot of the times I'm the one who's always behind the camera, and I wanted to experiment taking photos of myself using a remote control, and it just makes it a lot easier because I'm not going to need a person to hit the shutter button for me. A second reason is because a remote control will also make it a lot easier for making these videos. I don't know if you've noticed in my previous videos, there's some shakiness between the cuts, and that's because I'm always reaching over and hitting the record button, and it kind of moves my camera just a little bit. So having a remote control gets rid of that instability with my tripod. So going back to taking photos of myself, the biggest challenge is hiding the remote control in photographs. The remote comes with this big button in the middle where you would press to activate the shutter, and there's an autofocus on button, which is really handy because I noticed when I was shooting in manual mode, I would be out of focus and all I have to do is just press this button and the camera refocuses itself on me. And there's the minus and plus buttons are for if you're using a zoom lens. I primarily use prime lenses, so I'm not going to be using these two buttons often. And on the side, there's a toggle for movie or still, which is, I guess, if you're filming video or taking a photo. And there's also zoom and focus. I have it set to focus right now, which I guess is for the autofocus on. I'm actually not too sure about this right here. But since I don't use zoom lenses, I'm gonna keep it on focus. Another great thing about the remote control is using it for food photography. I like to take photos of my food in dark and moody settings, and this means that my ISO is gonna be really high, which also means that the photo is going to be grainy if it's not set on a tripod. So in addition to that, using a remote control can help with stabilizing the camera. I'm not going to need to touch my physical camera body when I'm trying to take the photo. I'm just going to hit this button and it's going to act as a shutter. So it should minimize the graininess in low light photos. The remote control is powered by a 3-volt coin battery that it goes into this slot right here. One of my complaints about the remote control is that it's not rechargeable. It would be a lot more convenient if it had USB charging. A second complaint would be that it's a little too big, I would say. I wish that it was shorter so it would be easier to hide in photos. But besides that, it actually works really well and it's snappy. When I hit the shutter button, it's usually almost just like if I hit the button on the physical camera body myself. There's really no delay. So to wrap it up, I'm really excited to use this remote control to take more photos of myself and without having to depend on a second person. So that's it for my review, and please comment on how you would use a remote control camera and the situations where you've encountered where a remote control ended up being really helpful. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.